This is going to be a baked dish. And so you want to start by buttering a casserole dish.
Okay.
And let's get out that flounder. Flounder is one of my favorites because you can do so much with it.
This is beautiful flounder.
And with this fish,
and
we're going
again,
to
like
stuff
the
it.
halibut, I think the camera can pick it up. Can you see the fish, the shine on the fish? This halibut was caught yesterday.
But you know, this is a little bigger than what I want it to be. So I'm going to cut it. So why don't you cut the other ones for me?
Okay, let me grab a little cutting board.
And I'll tell you what we're going to do with this. I'm going to make a nice stuffing for this. And I like spinach and carrot together with this, with a little bit of ginger. Don't you think that sounds good?
Love ginger.
So this should be enough for a serving each, these four pieces. Why don't we cut that one too, just in case?
Yeah.
Because I always tend to go overboard.
Okay.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So we're going to stuff that side.
You'll always put this on the inside. Any fish you stuff, whether you stuff it and roll it this way or this way.
Looks like a little
because
rosette.
it'll contract and it will hold it together even more.
Okay, so we have
you have 4 pieces?
4, and I want those 2 just in case.
Okay.
All right, so now we have all of our fish. So now for the filling, Jasper, I tend to keep things really simple too when I'm making fish because I don't want to overpower the flavor of fish. So we started out with some spinach, and if you could just grate some carrot for me.
I'll be happy to.
All I did was take fresh spinach and I cooked it down and squeezed it dry, so I got all of the extra moisture out of that. And then with that, I want some ginger. Believe it or not, this goes together beautifully. And when you buy ginger, you buy it like this. And you can actually freeze this. I know people put it in the refrigerator and then it goes moldy, but you break off those little fingers, see, just like that. And then, I mean, you don't need to buy this much, but if you use a lot of ginger, because just a little bit goes a long way. So when you're done with that, let me see what you've got. That's perfect. That's just enough. I want to put it right in this pan here.
All right.
So we've got some butter in there, so put that in there. And you could grate some ginger in there for me as well. We're taking my inspiration for this from Venice, where they use a lot of spices. Not too much, I don't want to overpower it. And we just want to get that soft. Let me get rid of this now because I don't think we need this anymore. Get that soft and give this a little bit of salt. And I'm not going to put saffron in there, but I want a little bit of pepper, just salt and pepper. Keep it real simple. And maybe you could just move that around with a spoon for me. Okay, that seems like it's enough. And I'm glad you didn't bother taking the papers off the ginger because the paper kind of comes right behind. That's a good trick. So why don't you move that around? And then we can add that to our spinach. So we need to cook this for about, I would say, a couple of minutes, just until those carrots soften. But while they're softening, we need to make a sauce for this, because I'm going to have something that's really simple as a nice little sauce on the plate. And again, it's going to start with carrots. So I've got 4 carrots that I have, again, shredded up. And the reason I shredded them is because they'll cook a whole lot faster than if you're just using whole carrots. And we want either some chicken stock or vegetable stock with this. Just want to give that enough to keep those carrots moistened. So that's going to stay like that.
You want it on high heat?
Just bring it up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce it. Let me just stir that around in the broth. That broth is going to be part of our sauce. So we cover that, we bring that to a boil. That's looking
soft.
okay.
Yep.
Let's get that out.
Do you want it in with the spinach?
Right in here. Goes right in here with the spinach. Can you smell the ginger?
That smells great.
Smells good. And it's pretty together. So now we can mix this up together. Let's give this a little bit of salt and pepper too. Just a subtle ginger flavor. Whoa, whoa, whoa on the salt. Okay. A little pepper.
Say one.
That's good. That's good. When this is cool enough to handle, then you want to start filling your fish. And I'm going to let you do a couple, and I'm going to do a couple. Let's clean off that board. And why don't you take 2 of those?
Okay.
Okay? Take 2. This one's rather thin, but we can we can improvise here. I'm going to put these aside for a second while we do these. So you take some of that filling. I just take it with my hands, see, and I press it down on the fish, just like that. And then I roll it up from the tail end. Just roll it like so. You may have to use a toothpick if you think it's going to fall apart, but I think if you...
Pretty.
Isn't that pretty? So let's, what do I do with that? Here it is. Here's our dish, so let's put one in there. Here's the second one. We can get 4 in there, so...
Okay.
So if you're doing more, you've got plenty of filling here. This is actually going to fill about 6 to 8 of them. So again, pressing this down. And I just think this is really pretty to look at. And maybe something that you'll put on your restaurant menu at the Summer Shack, huh?
Yeah, I just might do that.
So-
And I'll name it after you since I stole it from you.
Okay, so there's our 4th one. Press that down. And now we want to give this a little drizzle of olive oil. So a little olive oil goes over the top. And we're going to bake these at 400 degrees uncovered.
Okay.
So let's get this in the oven.